Rear end loves to rotate. Hey crew, I've got the key to that 22 Porsche Taycan rear wheel drive. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. Stylistically, no real changes for 22 or 23. There's still a steeply downturned face. We've got projector LED headlights, LED DRLs and turn signals. This teardrop comes down for a functional air curtain. There's functional cooling in the front dam. This one is painted in cherry metallic. It's like a maroon color, and that metallic flake pops in the sunlight. From the side is a set of optional 20-inch Sport Aero wheels. It's not my favorite design, to be honest. They're wrapped in Continental Pro Contact all seasons, 245 section front, 285 section rear. Within those wheels are ventilated discs. This charge port door on the driver's side is for AC outlet charging. There's also one on the passenger side for AC or DC outlets. The door handles pop out when the vehicle is unlocked, and they flush mount when it's locked. Stepping back to look at the profile, the Taycan's roofline is super low, and with the raised haunches front and rear, looks ready to attack. At the back is a hidden spoiler. There's an LED taillight bar above Porsche and Taycan. LED turn signals are here. And there's a protruding diffuser down low with a lot of different slats on it. I think that the Taycan is among the best looking of these EV sedans, but I find that the Audi e-tron GT, its stablemate, is even better looking. I want to know what you guys think. Which is better looking, e-tron GT or Taycan? Let me know in the comments. Opening up and looking inside at this slate gray interior with a mix of leatherette, fabric, and suede, or what Porsche calls race tex. We've got two individually bolstered sport buckets, no middle seat. On the doors, leatherette and fabric, silver painted accents, padding for your armrest, one-touch up-down windows, and a Bose sound system with the equipped premium package. Taller folks, watch your head getting in so you don't whack it on the roof. Behind my own seat at 6 feet tall, I've got pretty decent knee room. The seat back is injection molded. Foot pockets don't really exist though, and the high floor means that thigh support is lacking. Headroom is even worse though. So if I'm sitting fully upright trying to get to that headrest, my neck is craned like this. If I kind of slouch, then it's passable, but I'm gonna give it one of these. There are two air vents, no third zone of climate. You've got two USB-C ports hidden under what would be the middle seat. We've got a rubberized storage area there. Armrest comes down with padding and two cup holders. And we have a giant fixed glass roof to bring in lots of light. Back seats are kind of a bummer for me. I want more room, especially the headroom, and a third zone of climate at this price, $111,000. Also, check this out. This is how far down the windows go. No further. Door close noise. So very solid, even with frameless windows. Plus you've got smart keyless entry for the rear and the front doors. These front seats are heated and ventilated. The headrests come in and out. They don't go up or down like most. Power adjustments, including lumbar on the seats, 2-position memory, same materials on the front doors as the back, power adjusting and power folding door mirrors. There is a front trunk. There is also a rear trunk. You open both via the tablet in the console. For now, we'll just go to the back and press on the hidden tab to power open the trunk. The combined cargo space is 17 cubic feet. You can expand that by split folding the rear chairs. There are just no releases in the trunk. You have to pull tabs behind the seats. There are giant cubbies on either side, plus one in the middle. DC outlet is here. Power close and lock feature on the trunk lid as well. Hopping in the driver's seat, we find a suede wrapped steering wheel, perfect thickness in the hands, curved display behind the wheel, including reconfigurations and settings on either side of the screen. We've got a responsive touchscreen infotainment here. The layout does take a little bit of getting used to. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. To the right of that is an optional passenger display. Here, they can navigate, they can play music, answer phone calls, or just watch how you're driving. Here in the middle, we've got HVAC controls up top. There's a way to control the infotainment system. You can open or close your front or rear trunks or charge port doors, and you can monitor your battery level. I like the haptic feedback on the screen and the sound, so it's not as distracting while driving, though, I mean, nothing beats physical controls. We've got 2 cup holders, some padding on the console, which doesn't stay up. Not much storage inside. Wireless smartphone charging pad, DC outlet, and 2 USB-C ports. We have a little bit of additional storage behind the screen. Visibility is just okay. Some narrower back glass there. There is blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic, but it's optional, like so many of the features in this cabin, and yet there's still some things I feel like are missing at this price. I do love the sporty touches. I like the technology. Just want some more rear headroom. Let's take the Porsche Taycan rear drive for a drive now. All right, let's fire it up. And in fact, the Taycan does have a start-stop button, unlike some EVs where you just get in and they're on. We hit that here on the left-hand side of the wheel. And a couple pleasant chimes later, all our screens are on. And this Taycan is not one of the range toppers, so we don't have the dial on the steering wheel to adjust our drive mode. Instead, you do that by either flipping through normal or sport here on the screen, or going into the infotainment system and choosing the optional range setting. Our suspension damping is here or here. The ride height, here or here. And energy recuperation, aka braking regen, is here in the infotainment system. I'll turn that on and leave everything else in normal. I'm then going to go to the charge icon to see we've got 93% left in the battery and an estimate of 253 miles. That's notable because already at 93% charge, we've got more than the EPA estimated range of 225 miles with the equipped Performance Battery Plus. I saw 268 miles at 100% charge. I feel like that's like doing extra credit assignments so you can get more than 100% on your test. So we've got our gear selector here to the right. Click it up into reverse. We can see a high resolution camera system. We've got a bird's eye view. You can change up your camera angles. And we've got a super wide view to play with. We'll back on out of here. Click down to go into drive. Now we've got the front-facing camera helping us out. Let's do the world-famous horn test. Yeah, loud enough for sure. And turn signal sound. Oh, it's so delicate. I like it. Powertrain in this Taycan rear-wheel drive with the Performance Battery Plus. We've got a single electric motor at the rear axle, giving us a rear drive setup, whereas all other Taycans are all-wheel drive. And with the bigger battery, it's a 93.4 kilowatt-hour battery. Our output rises from 402 horsepower to 469 with the same 263 pound-feet of torque. One notable thing about the Taycan compared to most EVs on sale is that it's not just a direct drive. You have a 2-speed transmission that will shift so that the Taycan can achieve a higher top speed. At lower speeds, you stay in that first gear, and the way you access the power is super smooth, and of course it's instantaneous, being electric. Another notable thing about the Taycan, this one I'm not as much of a fan of, is that there is no one-pedal drive for the braking regeneration. When it's on and you take your foot off the throttle, only meager slowing happens. I mean, it takes a long time for the vehicle to bring itself down from speed. And considering that the strong braking regeneration does add another dimension to the way an electric vehicle drives. I feel like that's missing here. I do like that you can turn braking regeneration off completely. In some EVs you can't, but one pedal drive, I love that. I miss that. Let's do a turning radius test now. Hey, not too shabby. And without the rear wheel steering to help us out. It's an option on the Taycan, but not equipped to this vehicle. From what I just experienced though, at low speed for that maneuvering, maybe in parking lots, don't necessarily need it. The ride quality in the Taycan is fantastic. This one has the optional adaptive dampers with the air springs, and I'd say that's worth every penny. The car suppresses road imperfections phenomenally. You stay super relaxed. It's also very easy to direct this car down the road. Not a lot of steering input required to stay in the center of the lane. Now, Porsche's asked that we do not do a 0 to 60 test, and of course, without the Sport Chrono, we can't do a launch control. That means I'm just going to go to Sport and then come up to speed quickly. To get a feel for the acceleration. And while that didn't really push me back in my seat super hard, the Taycan rear drive with the bigger battery is plenty quick. And independent tests have seen 0 to 60 times in the high 4-second range. I gotta say, I did not expect a ride this pleasant. I thought the rigidity of the battery pack and on 20-inch wheels, it would be more jostly, but it's not. And that's even now in Sport. The chassis, the suspension is stiffer, they say. I really can't tell. It stays so nice. So it's certainly quick enough from a dig. How's the mid-range in the Taycan rear drive? Yep. It goes. Not nearly as much thrust as I'm remembering the Taycan Turbo. But when you level it, foot to the floor, you've got the passing power you need for highway maneuvers or a quick lane change. I don't really feel the distinct shift of the gearbox, but that very well could be because I'm just not hitting high enough speeds. And we won't be doing that today. I have a feeling the Taycan rear drive especially is not just about the straight line speed. It's a Porsche, and so it should also reward the driver when you come to a curve. Oh look, there's a curve up ahead. Perfect timing. I've turned off the stability control system, and now I'm going to carry a bit of speed into this corner. First test out the brakes, and then test out the handling. Yes, love that pedal tuning. Turn in is so quick. Rear end loves to rotate. And that, my friends, is why you get the rear drive version of the Taycan, because the rear end rotates beautifully. The chassis stayed controlled, balanced, and yes, of course, all EVs with batteries in the floor have low centers of gravity, but it's how they use it. In the Taycan, you've got steering finesse and you've got composure, and that allows you to feel like you can push the car a little more and stay well in control. Let's go back to normal now. We'll put stability back on. I'll activate the available adaptive cruise control system with lane keep assist. And once again, the Taycan becomes so agreeable. At these highway speeds, the wind and tire noise is suppressed. The road noise, it's a little more than I would like. Perhaps the insulation needs to be brought up just a touch. But this feels like a thoroughbred luxury product. At this point, I think we can assign a miles per hour word of the day to the Porsche Taycan rear drive. And that word is docile, meaning submissive or easy to control. That is this vehicle. It feels like it's ready for your inputs. Tell me what to do, boss, and I'll do it. And if that is cruising around town, got you covered. If that is taking a curve at some speed and having fun, we can do that too. Now, before we jump into pricing and competition, we should talk charging. If you have a level 2 charger, it will take you about 9 hours for a full charge of the Porsche Taycan. And if you can find access to a 270 kilowatt fast charger, you can go from 5 to 80% in just 23 minutes. Our level of charge, meanwhile, since we have 79% and 209 miles of estimated range, so we've dropped, 43 miles since when we started? Having driven about 31, 32 miles, I think that's fairly good. We did have a couple big acceleration runs, so I'm going to say you can have confidence that your rear-wheel range will be in excess of the EPA-rated 225 miles. The starting figure for the Porsche Taycan rear-wheel drive, that is $84,000. This one is tested, though, with the performance battery, with the premium package, with the paint job, with a lot of little ticky-tacky things, is $111,000. I built my Taycan rear-wheel drive in the configurator, and I got it to be around $100,000. So that is doable with the big battery and with the premium package. The competitors, it's a pretty dense segment at this point. We've got vehicles like the Tesla Model S, the long-range model. It starts at $106,000. It makes 670 horsepower, gets to 60 in 3.1 seconds, and has an EPA estimated range of 412 miles. There's the Mercedes-Benz EQS 450 Plus sedan that starts at $103,000. It makes 369 horsepower. I'll be corrected in the card. Gets to 60 in 5.7 seconds and has an EPA estimated range of 350 miles. There's the Lucid Air Pure. That's $89,000 to start. It makes 480 horsepower, gets to 60 in 4.2 seconds, and has a range of 406 miles. And finally, there's the stablemate, the same platform car, the Audi e-tron GT, that starts at just under $104,000. It does make 522 horsepower, gets to 60 in 3.9 seconds, and has a range of 232 miles. Somehow, the same battery has more estimated range. If you look at that sample set, you're going to be like, all right, so the Taycan rear-wheel drive is the cheapest to start, but you can build it up in price, certainly. It has among the least power, if not the least power. It gets to 60 in the slowest, and the range is the worst. Why would you choose this car? If you are a driving enthusiast, the Taycan is going to be the most rewarding. And if you look at Porsche's spread of vehicles, you always have to pay extra for that. The critiques I would have with it are that the line items that seem to build up and swell the price considerably, if you're not careful, it can make this vehicle exorbitantly expensive. Would like a little more rear headroom, and I feel like the road noise is a bit high. As an overall product, it is fantastic and tailored to drivers. I hope you've enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to get notified, and I'll see you next time.